Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, for you guys, there's another podcast video today by YouTube buddy Recon Trooper.
Hey there, folks. Recon Trooper here, and if you're watching my thing, I hope you enjoy the Halo Wars, Minecraft, and possibly TimeSplitters 2 gameplay.
It's pretty varied. I think you're going to be seeing some Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga on my end.
Oh, I played.
So I'm filming that right now.
I played some of that a couple days ago. Not much.
I did, yeah. Well,
no, I did. I'm saying.
Oh, you did. Okay,
yeah,
I was like, wait a minute.
Wanted to play as Darth Vader after watching Episode 3, and of course, there's not much I can do since the enemies are only in levels and not the hub. So
yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Fair point. Yeah. Look, guys, I'm one of those rare people. I like right now. I'm running around Octo as Poe and Ahsoka. Like I have 100% on Octo. I'm just running around like an idiot. I don't know. But anyway,
okay.
We have some cool topics here. If you enjoy this podcast, make sure to like, subscribe if you are new to myself and Recon Trooper. You guys know the drill right now. Subscribing is free. Takes 1 second. Easy button press. And there you go. Also hit the bell icon so you get notified whenever I post a video, as long as Recon Trooper is cool with that as well. Whenever he posts, hit the bell icon for his channel as well. But I am ready to start rocking and rolling here.
And don't forget to comment, too, if you feel like it.
Exactly, comment. Yeah, thank you. You guys, yeah.
I
what's up.
get barely any comments on my videos anymore.
I know it's look, even same here. I mean, I'll get the occasional few. You Echo, maybe my Poppy. But yeah,
I made a video. I think it was last Friday after we had to reschedule. I made one expressing my thoughts about the next Godzilla movie, and I got views, but no comments.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, it's weird. No one on YouTube, like, except for X amount of people, no one really likes to comment. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but anyway.
I don't know how to fix that. But yeah, anyway, my first topic is actually Recon. You've been contacting me here, and I'm playing Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga as we speak. Yeah. And you're like, hey, I'm rewatching the Skywalker Saga, and you were talking about Revenge of the Sith. So let's talk about the Skywalker Saga. Maybe not all 9, but what you've been experiencing and just your thoughts upon rewatch of these films.
Well, I finished Rogue One about 2 hours ago.
Oh, cool.
That's the only non-Skywalker saga I watch with the other 9 because it does have Skywalkers in it, technically.
Yes.
Solo doesn't. Solo doesn't even have 3PO in it, so.
That's true.
Or R2.
I mean, Solo's a good movie, but yeah, if you're like watching just for Skywalker
and
interaction, there's not a whole lot
right
in it.
before A New Hope, so I have to kind of watch it. So.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, I just wanted to watch it out of the blue a couple days ago, and then yesterday, after having watched Revenge of the Sith, I wanted to start the whole story again, and so I watched episodes 1 and 2 last night, and there's certainly I was watching that one scene that you say the line doesn't work when Padme says, "I truly, deeply love you," and I was just like, yeah. There's the line. Wonder what the
infamous line.
He must be cringing far away even without seeing it because I'm seeing it or whatever.
Yeah, what did Obi-Wan say? A million souls cried out in pain or whatever.
But yeah, I still liked it. I like the episode 1. I'll start there. I like I don't care that Jar Jar's clumsy, as that's how he's made. I don't care what all the haters and fake fans call him. He is very helpful if you think about it.
He is and he isn't, right? Right? It's kind of both.
I mean, it's because of him that that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan find the Gungan city in the first place, and it's because of him that let's see, what is there? Oh yeah, it's because of him that Anakin meets Qui-Gon,
Yes.
Because of that little thing with Sebulba at the beginning, when that part starts, And it's also because of him that, the Queen learns of this grand army that they use in the end. So he's not, and not to mention his clumsiness actually does kill a few battle droids. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, he also kind of destroys the entire Republic just for putting Sheev Palpatine in charge. But we'll get that. That's not important.
No.
I do think I mean, without joking, you are right. I mean, Jar Jar. I've always liked the character, right? Yeah, I'll never understand why people are like, oh, he's so stupid. It's like, yeah, he's supposed to be stupid. He's a Gungan. They're all kind of dumb. But that's just Star Wars,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of weird alien species out there.
And then, on Episode 2, there may be some cringy dialogue on there, especially between Anakin and Padme, but I don't really care. When I'm watching it, I'm just eagerly waiting for the next action piece.
Yeah, no,
And
yeah. I
so-
mean, you bring up a really good point.
But also some
Is
of the
that-
dialogue. I mean, yeah, maybe it doesn't work, but or at least the delivery maybe doesn't entirely work. But the line itself works. Like
Yeah.
Anakin.
There's
Anakin getting upset over killing the Sand People. That's obviously become a real big meme on the internet. Like, not just the men, but the women and the children too. But
that's actually a joke in Skywalker Saga.
yeah, I know. But if you try to look at it through a more serious lens, I mean, can you imagine seeing that? Just this guy going on a revengeful rampage, killing everybody in a town or in a small block just because they, or some of them anyway, were responsible for kidnapping, a loved one, and that loved one ends up dying as, in that area just as you get to them.
It's like John Wick, but instead of over a dog, it's over a person, and instead of shooting them, he beheads them.
Yeah, and then, of course, there's Revenge of the Sith. Oh, I should also point out, the end battle is pretty epic still. I mean, you can't deny the epic clash between the armies at the end is...
Yes, that holds up. That really does hold up. I mean,
it's
it's kind of wonky.
It's like I said in the second podcast about the Sith troopers, how they're similar to the clone troopers in Episode 2, where they don't appear until the end, really. And it's just like that, with this thing. Just like I said, they don't. You only see them in action at the end of the movie, and it's only for like brief shots. Because obviously they're trying to, they obviously want the focus to mostly be on Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Dooku.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
And, although there's one thing I've never understood is, when Anakin tells the pilot to shoot Dooku down, and he says, "We're out of rockets, sir," then why doesn't Anakin just say, "Then use the laser cannons"? The gunship has laser
George
cannons,
Lucas. Yeah, I bet in the canon there's a reason. It's like, oh, well, Anakin was, I don't know, he was mad about Padme falling or something. But I think it's, a lot of the issues with the prequels is just George didn't think about it.
And also, to mention, the gunship had a tail laser cannon. It could have been firing back at the Geonosian fighters. So.
Yeah. I mean, where were you in 2002? Why didn't you tell George this?
I was young, and I didn't have the knowledge or interest or kind of view I have now. I was more
excuses.
I just liked the action. I liked Yoda jumping all over the place and screaming, and I didn't really care about certain things. And now I look at it through more of a logical lens.
Yeah, but you still like Yoda screaming and flipping, right? I mean, that didn't.
Well, yeah, it's a pretty good lightsaber fight, and then of course, Episode 3. And, that something after seeing the Clone Wars, at least I should say up to the season 6, because I haven't seen the final season yet. I might someday.
Oh, you have to. Good stuff.
But, that arc when Anakin and Obi-Wan discover Count Dooku's name, Tyrannus?
Yes.
And then they have that little duel with him. Well, that kind of it may not entirely ruin it. It just kind of makes the line in episode 3 redundant when Obi-Wan says, "This time we'll do it together," and then Anakin says, "I was about to say that," because that's clearly a nod to episode 2 when Anakin just blindly rushes in and gets zapped, and then you add that little arc in the Clone Wars that technically comes before episode 3. And they already fought him together, so why would Obi-Wan say, "This time we'll do it together"?
Yeah, there's a few. I will admit, though, Star Wars, I mean, you and I know this. Star Wars is really good with canon, like the continuity, but there's a few mishaps. And I think, like one of my favorites is...
I mean, it's still a cool duel. I'm not saying that. It's just, it makes the line that Obi-Wan says feel redundant after they introduce that Clone Wars thing. So
No, I agree. I think one of the best examples of that, though, real quick, is in Return of the Jedi. And when you get to your rewatch, you know the scene, but there's a scene where in Episode 6 where Leia's kind of describing Padme, her mom, and she's like, "Oh, she's beautiful, but she's sad." And we know, oh, well, she died at childbirth, so how the fudge does Leia know this? And in the lore, I don't want to say they retconned it, but they added in the detail that Padme's servant, Sabe, who was Keira Knightley, like the stunt double person in Episode 1.
Yeah.
In the comics, it's actually confirmed in the comic books that Sabe looks exactly like
Leia or Padme.
What's her face, and that's why. So Leia in Return of the Jedi is saying, "Oh, she's beautiful." That's her, remembering Sabe, thinking it's Leia, and also it's a bit of the Force, her not knowing she's using it type thing, which I think is interesting. But in your case, I think that's just more of a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, this is before the Clone Wars, so obviously it was meant to go back. It was meant to nod at Episode 2, but now with the Clone Wars, it's like, did Obi-Wan just forget that little duel he and Anakin had just before this one?
He's human. Yeah, it happens.
But I mean, it took some 19 years to forget about his old name. And only about maybe a couple of months at most.
Yeah, Obi-Wan's got some forgetful problems.
Forget they just had this duel with Dooku.
Yeah,
but
what a moron.
But yeah, it was. I really like that battle over Coruscant, though. It's perhaps the best space battle in all of Star Wars. Even the one above Exegol, because you actually see capital ships firing at each other. You don't just see all these ships appearing and then you see only a handful of them actually firing at capital ships. And for that matter, firing at the large cannons on those Final Order Star Destroyers in Rise of Skywalker, and they just blow up after that. You don't see any broadside engagements in it, and that's what I like about Episode 3's space battle is you see capital ships all over the place, side by side, firing lasers like crazy at each other. Even in the distance, in the background, and when you're watching certain scenes with Anakin and Obi-Wan, or whatever, you just see these small engagements going off in the distance, and it just looks so awesome,
It does, yeah.
If only they could have spent a good chunk of the beginning just focusing on the space battle, like without Anakin and Obi-Wan, and just seeing a bunch of ships firing at each other before going back to Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Well, if I'm mistaken, maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe but I think there might be some kind of 3 or 4 hour long Revenge of the Sith cut that almost made it. I don't know if that's legit or if that's just some fan thing, but
there's always a thing like real. That. That's with deleted scenes, and they of course take the deleted scenes out when it gets too long. So.
Oh, but I don't mean deleted scenes being taken out. I mean the Snyder cut is 4 hours versus. It's like that. It's like there is a 4 hour cut of this movie that they didn't, actually put together. I don't know if that's real, but maybe during that 4 hour cut, if it's real, asterisk, maybe that was a thing, like an additional space battle kind of thing. Because I think that is cool. And you're right. I think it would have been cool to see that in Episode 9. But there's actually a ride in Disney World called Rise of the Resistance, which is canon. Yeah. And too. And there's a scene in the ride where you join the Resistance and you kind of see the First Order and the Resistance fighting. And you can actually see the First Order cannons being shot, like in Episode 3. But, yeah, it's weird it didn't show up in the movies.
Yeah, sounds kind of cool, I guess. And there's also, I did notice a slight error, too, though. That shot of the two ships that are right beside each other just after the duel with Dooku? There's, when it cuts to the shot of R2 in the hangar, you see the hangar door is the other one. It's not the one that got closed when Anakin shot at it. It's the other side, and that's the side that the Republic Star Destroyer is on. But when you look at it, it's not there. When you see cut to R2's shots, it's not there. It should be like right beside the thing. You should be seeing just this massive thing right there, but it's instead showing more distant battles going on.
Huh.
So it's kind of...
That's funny. I mean, it's crazy you mention that because, like, I never noticed that, and that's a really good detail you notice. Like, there's also a scene in, again, Return of the Jedi where Luke is fighting on the skiffs, and he's rescuing Leia and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his foot is like a mile off of that guy's freaking head. It's kind of funny.
Actually, that's
but when you're watching the movie, you don't realize that.
Yeah, something I kind of have been wondering though is how come that scene bothers you more than the disappearing blade one? Because they both don't make sense unless somehow the Force is involved in some way. Like maybe Rey made the blade disappear before it could slash her. Or maybe Luke sort of force kicked the guy,
Right? Yeah. I mean, you can make up any BS and have it work. I mean, that's how that works. But I think why it bothers me is just I don't know. I feel like the Luke one is just such an easy thing for people in editing to be like, oh, that doesn't even remotely look close. But like Rey and the blade thing, maybe obviously the big issue with that is. When Ryan directed the scene, he wanted to actually have Daisy and Adam do the thing and not have some kind of stunt guy. So they were kind of little, quote-unquote liberal with their actions. But, I mean, yeah, it's an issue. Maybe, in the canon, maybe, he dropped it and the camera shot just didn't capture it or whatever,
Or maybe he was secretly Doctor Strange from another reality. And she killed him just after he made the blade disappear. Yeah. Although why he did that, I don't know.
Have happened.
Yeah. Why would he make the blade disappear when he's almost gonna die? Is he trying to give her the win? But,
yeah, he's like, whatever.
But anyway, and then Rogue One is the one I last watched, and. It's pretty, like I said, it's what I watch with my Skywalker Saga marathons because it's got Vader, a.k.a. Anakin Skywalker, and Leia Skywalker, a.k.a. Organa. But it's also, it's the only time outside of apparently Obi-Wan's TV show that you actually see Vader just do more than you see him in the original trilogy, because all he does is fight, another saber guy. But this thing, you actually see him take out rebels.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because like you're right. All he does in the original trilogy is just kind of, I mean, he kills a few people, but all Vader does is just kind of walk around and they play that music. So I think it was really cool to see in Rogue One him just go bonkers and kill the whole hallway. Or like you said, you saw the Obi-Wan show, right?
No. I heard about it, though. My brother said that Vader is a lot more... Like, the fight he has with Vader at the end is a lot more modern than it... Like, it doesn't look like the original trilogy kind of fight. It looks more like a prequel trilogy.
Exactly.
Or something. But no, I haven't personally seen it. I might see it if it comes out. Well, I should say, if I have money. I'm kind of tight on money right now. But
okay,
if I get the interest, I might get it off Etsy, or if maybe Disney gets some brain in their head and decides to release it. Because apparently Mandalorian, Loki, and I think WandaVision are all coming officially to DVD now.
Yes, I heard about that. I mean, I own
if they could
Mando.
Do that
I own everything Star Wars.
If they could do that
from
with
Etsy,
Obi-Wan, then I'd be more than willing to get it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's I think they'd be stupid not to do all the Star Wars and Marvel things because I get why they don't do it because they want you to subscribe to Disney Plus, but at the same time the reason why I buy this stuff off Etsy and eCreator and all these websites, which are illegal by the way for anyone listening, if there's anyone from the FBI, okay, listen up, I pay tax on this stuff, so it's good. I just find it really funny. Like, I'm a massive collector, especially Star Wars. Anything canon I want. So it's really, it's just like when Ahsoka finishes in X amount of weeks, I'm gonna immediately the day after I'm checking Etsy, so that kind of thing. So I think if Disney's smart, they would do that.
So, but yeah, so. And then, I'm probably going to do A New Hope after this because I've got time this evening. And so...
That sounds good. Sounds cool.
It'll be, it's one of those things. You see one movie and then you want to see them all again because the story just continues, I guess if it's Rise of Skywalker, maybe not because it sort of ends the Skywalker saga. Even though the new movie with Rey is coming out whenever it comes out, it'll take place probably several years later. But until then, Rise of Skywalker is the end of the road.
Right. So why don't you go on with the topic?
Huh?
Why don't you go on with the next topic, and then because I have one that I want to talk about, which I think is going to be interesting. But let's hear what you have to say about another topic here.
Okay, so my first topic was wink, wink, the package. So, so first question: which of the 4 have you seen so far from that specific package?
You might not like the answer. I saw Kong Skull Island, even though I've seen that one already.
Yeah.
I did watch your version, so to speak. It's the same freaking thing. But I really wanted to watch Godzilla before, which is the first made, but the second in the logical. If you don't count the Skull Island anime show on Netflix. Even though I guess that is canon, but specifically movie talking, man. Like for any, obviously everyone knows I've been swamped with homework. I'm gonna be a teacher, and there's a lot of lesson plans and all that. I'm not gonna give anyone a sob story, but in between free time, filming stuff I gotta do, it's tough. But the next podcast we do, I will have watched all 4. In fact, I plan on watching Godzilla within the next.
I don't know. You saw the
days.
post-credit scene of Kong?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yep.
And you heard Godzilla's roar?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm pumped.
It worked okay? You didn't have any glitch problems, or you didn't have to have subtitles on the whole time?
Oh, no. Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I checked. Subtitles can be altered. It ran perfect.
That's good. Because, I went on to Amazon. I wasn't even looking for it to get you or anything. I just kind of came across it on Amazon when I was just browsing, and I was like, hey, this is something Franchise certainly could use since he's having trouble finding the Godzilla movies. And then there was only 2 of them, and I saw another one. It was a thinner looking thing. It was just one case with all 4 discs in it. And then there was that one, and I just saw there were only 2 left, and it kind of looked cooler anyway. With the front on it, because that's the only picture they showed of it, just the front. And then I thought, well, if I try to tell him to get it, by the time he gets around to getting it, it might be gone, because again, there were only 2 of them, so I was just like, maybe I'll try to mail it to him. And truth be told, about 1/3, if not half of all the views on that video are me, because it's just very different compared to all your unboxings where you know what you're getting. This one, you were totally you had an idea, but it's still, you weren't quite so prepared for exactly what it was. So
I was definitely
your reaction was kind of like Christmas came early kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you, by the way. I mean, I always, I'm a very thankful person, but it was almost too much. I mean, Jesus, I could have. But no, I mean, objectively, it's a really badass looking cover.
Yeah.
It plays great. It's a really good thing to add to a collection. So yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and now you don't have to worry about looking for Godzilla anymore because I found it for you. So
yeah, you did my homework for me.
So, but yeah, I was kind of laughing when you said I need you to watch this set of films, and that's kind of true, and it's kind of not, because I did need you to watch it because I've been waiting since our second podcast to talk about the MonsterVerse as a whole.
I know, it's been a while.
You only saw Kong Skull Island at the time, and so I've been waiting, and so I did need you to watch the Godzilla films before we could talk about it, and also to see a review, but it wasn't so much I needed you to see them just for entertainment purposes. It was just kind of, I took advantage of the opportunity, and so.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's great. Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's more content for you to watch, for my subs to watch.
Yeah.
And it's hopefully good movies for me to watch. So
I look forward to your review. Are you doing a review per movie, or are you doing a review all of them at once?
So I will be doing a review per movie. So I'm even going to re-review Kong in a little bit here. I'm actually going on vacation over this weekend at the time of recording. And don't worry, you guys. I swear to God, I'm still doing Captain America Civil War. Yeah, it's hard to watch a 2.5-hour long movie when you have homework, all right? I'm trying, but it'll get done. I'm probably going to end up reviewing the MonsterVerse. What's that?
That's what the weekend is for, isn't it?
I'll be gone the weekend. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get home Sunday night, and then it's school again. But I think what I'm going to end up doing is watching the MonsterVerse first, just get those 4 out of the way, and then go back. Because the MCU is good, but it's like a million friggin' things.
Yeah.
The MonsterVerse is pretty, at this point, it's pretty contained.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. So, like, why would you want to continue on another, 10 more movies while you only have 4 right now to watch?
Exactly, yeah. So that's what I'm going to do.
But... yeah, it'll be interesting hearing your reviews on each of them, and maybe even just an overall review kind of thing too, if you did that.
Oh, like the whole package?
Yeah, just like
the movies,
just like talking about the connectivity between them all and everything,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but yeah,
no,
I'm glad you enjoy at least Kong Skull Island so far. Hopefully, the Godzilla ones run well too, and you don't have problems. And I think it was a Netherlands release, because I found a thing. I don't know if you saw it earlier in our posts. I found a thing that had like a whole bunch of things, and the 12 literally looks like it did on the box cover, and it even has a bunch of symbols.
Okay.
Like there's a spider thing and a fist, and looks like frog limbs without the frog.
Right.
And a syringe, and looks like some armless guy screaming. But I don't know what those
sounds
are all
interesting, though.
supposed to mean, but
well, you're just. I bet you're happy that I have a region-free Blu-ray player, because Netherlands wouldn't work on I don't think, a normal Blu-ray player. So I'm glad getting a region-free player, man. It's like the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, but. Yeah, well, I'm happy you just got it, period, too, because I may have been sounding kind of panicked when I was messaging you, like, did Dad get it yet? Did he get it yet? And it's just because Amazon hasn't always been reliable for me, because I told you in our first podcast I got Kung Fu Panda collection from eBay.
Yeah.
But first I tried to get it from Amazon, and no matter what, for some reason, they just still weren't sending it to me. And I even tried to get a refund from them, and I don't know if I did or not, but whatever. And so, sometimes Amazon hasn't been the most reliable source for me, so that's why I was kind of panicking, because I didn't want to find out I got screwed over again. And this time it was, pulling you into it, because I was raising your expectations too. And
yeah, how dare you screw me over with Amazon?
But
thankfully it works. So
yeah,
hopefully you don't have any more of those experiences. But
well, can't be certain because sometimes they're good. Because I did get, I got, I got this thing now and for you, and then I got a couple of other things that just came late. But yeah, they don't always just give it to me. They for some reason it's not shipped yet, or I don't know what happens, but they're like a month past their delivery date, and I get tired of waiting after.
Yeah, leave it to the internet, right?
Yeah, eBay's been more reliable than them. But yeah, I'm glad Kong Skull Island works, and I hope the Godzilla ones work, and I look forward to seeing your reviews on it, because Godzilla X Kong is coming in April if they don't mess with it further, and you'll want to see that. But
I'll see that in theaters now for sure.
But if you didn't have these movies, you wouldn't have any knowledge of what happened before, and so you probably would avoid seeing it.
Exactly, yeah. So now that I'll know what's going on, I'll definitely see that in theaters. Yeah. In fact, I wanted to see Blue Beetle in theaters. Just speaking of that, but just didn't have time with school, and now there's like 2 showings.
I think I saw a thing on your community, one of your community postings, saying you weren't going to see Blue Beetle.
Well, originally I didn't want to just because the director was kind of wonky, but then I'm like, it's the new DC Universe movie. I guess I'll give it a watch. Of course, when I want to watch it, I can't.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
School gets in the way now, so you got even more.
Gotta take what I can get, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah,
all right.
Just before we move on, when you watch King of the Monsters, make sure to watch the mid credits, because there's some insight within the credits. If you have a good eye for it, there's some things that you get insight on as to what happens right after that movie is over, like the official movie. So there's things like on newspaper articles and stuff about what's going on, about what's happened, and stuff like that. So just make sure to watch that if you're interested in seeing what happened after. And then of course there's a post-credit scene at the very end, so you'll want to watch that for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll be sure to do that
Kong
for sure.
Has nothing, so you don't have to worry about that.
Oh, nothing at all. Okay.
No. It's just the end of the movie, and then the credits, and then a big yawn saying, that was a good movie. But anyway, so next topic of yours.
Yeah, so a new game released, and it's kind of controversial.
Star something?
Star something.
Yeah.
It sure is something. It's called Starfield, and it's by Bethesda, the guys that made Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and all that. I've been playing it. I have plans to film a little bit of it one of these days here. Yeah. I'm not very far into it. I wanted to play it today, but you guessed it, school. Yeah. So probably Sunday I'll play it a little bit before Monday. But it's a good freaking game. But the problem is that it's only on Series X, S, and PC. It's not on PlayStation. It's not on Xbox One.
As of yet.
But the game is incredible. I mean, just before I splurge about it, what are your opinions on Starfield? Were you ever looking forward to it? Do you like space games? Because, you like Star Wars.
I never heard of it until the thing I think it was last week or earlier this week. There was a thing about which one is going to be better, this or Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
But otherwise, no, I didn't hear about it beforehand, and I don't know. With my money situation, I'm not really thinking about it right now, but...
Yeah, I mean, that plus it's like a 400-hour game.
Yeah, and if it's only on Series X as of right now anyway, I probably won't get it either.
Yeah, that's a shame because God of War, for example, or Uncharted or some shite that's only on PlayStation, or say Starfield that's only on Xbox. it sucks because I know why they do it, money.
Yeah.
And we have us look at this only on Xbox. But at the end of the day, I was talking about this with my uncle, and that it's that, Uncharted's only on PlayStation, Starfield's only on Xbox. That alienates like 50% of, imagine if they put Uncharted on Xbox or Starfield on PlayStation, they would get so much more money. Yeah. I genuinely don't understand it, and it's really weird because so far, Starfield's a freaking masterpiece. Like, it's awesome. I know it's 30 FPS on console, and people through their hissy fits. It's third or first. You can choose. Yeah, you can choose.
Like Battlefront, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except it's 30 FPS on console. Which look, you can't tell. It's a very smooth 30 FPS. Yeah. It lags a little bit in New Atlantis, which is the biggest city in the game. But I mean, it's if you've heard of No Man's Sky, it's like that, but with guns. And of course, it's a Bethesda title, so there's going to be a lot of character choices and all that. But I mean, the game looks great. It runs great. I've been having a blast with it, but I mean, it's like the ultimate open world Star Wars game, and I know technically that is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, but it's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, it's kind of the next possible space game I get is probably going to be The Outer Worlds. I don't know. I was thinking about it earlier in the week, and then decided. At first, I couldn't remember what the name of it was, and then I went on to Lunar Squadron's thing because I know they talked about it briefly, and I wanted to try to remember what the name was. And I think they deleted the video because it was before Lego Star Wars, so most of those videos are gone now.
Yes.
But and then I finally went on to, I think it was the Xbox channel or the website, and looked it up, and then finally I spotted the name, and then I'm like, oh, that's what it is. And so and
I heard about it.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I just suddenly had this interest in playing it. I haven't got it yet.
It looks cool.
But so apparently there's no New Game Plus on it, and once you finish it, you're finished, and you have to start a new game all over or something.
Oh, that's weird. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know much about it. Is it? I know it's not like open world. Is it like hub based?
I'm not sure yet. I think there's like because
I would imagine after you beat the story or whatever, you can still like.
From things I saw, I don't know if they were in a hub or if they were in like an open world environment or whatever it was, but I just know it kind of looked interesting. So
yeah. I mean, not many games nowadays, like when you beat it, say, go do it again. You know what I mean? I think, if anything, if there's not a New Game Plus, I think you'd still be able to, like, explore the hubs. I'm not sure. I would just assume. But from what I've seen, just little bits of gameplay, I think the people that made it made Fallout New Vegas. So, not Bethesda, but closely knitted to that.
Yeah.
It looks fun, though. I mean, if you do end up getting it, let me know what you think, because I want to get it one day.
Yeah, sure. I will. And, hopefully I'll like it enough to actually, if anything, if I don't like it, I'll just be upfront with you next time when I talk to you after I get it, and I'll just be like, it sucks, don't get it, and then move on.
Yeah.
Don't need a
duly noted.
Don't need a conversation about something that sucks.
It's true.
Gollum wasn't even
Speaking of something that sucks,
Gollum
I have
wasn't
another
even worth
podcast.
mentioning, never mind conversing about.
Good point. But since you mentioned something that sucks, I guess that segues into my very quick next topic. But there's a new Lego game coming out, and no one really knows about it because they're not marketing it. It's actually called Lego 2K Goal, or just Lego 2K Goal if you're boring, I guess. But with this game, it's by the people that made 2K Drive. And it's just weird because apparently it leaked that it's coming out like this month to consoles, yet we have no official announcement. Oh. And I do like sports in general. I'm not like, I like franchises a lot more than the sports, but, I'll watch a football game or a basketball game. But a Lego, and I'm not a fan of sports games really, but Lego sports game I might be into just because they make it more fun. But what do you know about Lego 2K Gold? Do you even like know about it at all? Because they really haven't, like, no one really knows what this game is or where it is.
Well, last I heard about it was about a minute ago when you just mentioned it, so that's my knowledge of it.
My point.
I'm not even looking at Lego games anymore because TT games have been they've been more quiet than Skywalker Saga. So I don't know if they're having like an internal civil war or something going on over there or whatever's going on, but.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, that could be a whole topic in and of itself. But yeah, it's funny that you don't know what it is. No one knows what it is, and I only knew because I just saw an ad online and like a leak on Reddit. And I mean, it's a real thing. It's not like a fake game, but it's just kind of weird that I mean, Lego 2K Drive. I don't know if you played that, but it's a really good racing game. Sadly, I had to uninstall it because I needed room for Starfield. But I mean, it's a fun game, and it's. For what it is, an open world Lego racer, it's pretty cool. So seeing those guys making a sports game, I think that would work. But it's just weird because no one knows where it is.
Yeah, well, yeah. Actually, I recorded. I said I recorded some Halo Wars gameplay, and just to go on to that quickly as a topic. Halo Wars is kind of like that Lord of the Rings game I described a few podcasts ago. It was the Battle for Middle-earth 2 one where you make your own armies and stuff. And Halo Wars is kind of the Halo version of that where there's 3 factions for humans and 3 factions for the Covenant. And you can make your own armies with them as long as you can, stay alive long enough to do it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun game. I mean, it's really frustrating because the Covenant have this one vehicle that the UNSC doesn't, and it's a very annoying thing to have to deal with when you have one to fight. Mm-hmm. It's called a Scarab, and they essentially can destroy the whole base with just one of them, and they're a real pain to take out. But overall, it's pretty fun. You can have Spartans up to 3. You can have Warthogs. You can have Scorpions or tanks. It's a pretty fun strategy game if you're into that kind of thing. I mean, not that you'll probably get it, but if you're curious about it, you can always.
Yeah, I mean, when you say strategy, because Halo's an FPS, is this not an FPS?
No, it's like one of those games where you build your own armies. You build you don't really build a city like in other games that I've played, because you have set like landing pads or base pads or whatever you want to call them, and then you build your base just on that spot. But you can make you can have squads of Marines. You can have a bunch of grunts and elites if you want, if you're playing Covenant. And it's a big overhead view with kind of looks like a Halo reticle for highlighting stuff with.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's hard to describe. You'll see it if you watch my version once I get it posted eventually.
Yeah, I'll have to because it sounds interesting. I played Halo 3 ODST, and I think that's it. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Halo show. Apparently, that's no good. But,
no,
I don't know, man. I've always been more of a COD person than Halo, but I'm open to playing it. I mean, when I played ODST, I had a good time.
Yeah, but yeah.
Is there a campaign in every Halo game? Because I know there's a new one like Halo Infinite or something, like the newest one. I don't think that has a campaign.
There's usually a campaign. I mean, people like to, especially in the first-person shooter ones, people like to continue following the story of the Master Chief, as he's called.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've only played up to Halo 4 in that case because I could care less about the other two. because apparently they don't have any offline anything except the campaign, and even that you can't.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't.
Even that you can't play split screen on, apparently. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy that either.
But although I did hear that Halo Infinite does have bots, but I haven't looked into that because like I said, I don't care about it.
Yeah, so there are offline bots in Halo Infinite, but they're currently broken. So that doesn't really help us.
Well, it could help you if you just want to take your anger out on somebody and be like, I'm going to kill some stupid bots because I hate today or something.
Yeah, that's true.
But
speaking of bots, I recently also just bought Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 because I think I mentioned it last time, but the offline bots when that game released were trash, and now they're better. They have to. The created class is still broken, so if you make your own gun, you can't actually use what you make in the game. That's bugged. But you have all the maps and all the modes. So and you can play in third or first person for the first time in Call of Duty. That's cool. So I've been having fun doing that. But it's crazy, man. Just seeing I think offline play for FPS games is sadly kind of going out the window. I don't like that though.
Yeah. Well, it's not just offline; it's local in general. Because some people like to play split screen online or whatever. So, but
or even what was it? I think really one of the only good local or just co-op games in general was Lego games, Borderlands, those types of things. But yeah, Call of Duty and Halo. I mean, they're kind of going out the window.
Yeah, but. That's okay. I'm not getting them, so.
Yeah.
Die hard and fall games. I don't care.
Yeah.
But
I don't blame you on that one.
Speaking of what's going out the window, recently I had a slight interest of maybe getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I learned that apparently there's no New Game Plus on it, and I learned even more that Ubisoft have actually been quite a lying company for quite a while, because they say they're gonna do one thing or another thing, and then they say right at the end when they're done supporting the game that they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, they've done that multiple times.
And apparently they also like to deactivate content that the players have paid for before, and they deactivate it when they're done supporting it. So you basically have thrown your money away when they do that. So
I've never heard of that one. I mean, it hasn't happened to me yet, but all in all, I mean, yeah, Valhalla, it does not have New Game Plus, but honestly, I was just playing that today, actually. I have 250 hours in it, not straight, since I got it in 2020.
Yeah.
It's easily one of my favorite games of all time, period. It's, in my opinion at least, it's almost a flawless...
Apparently there's these things called Valiant weapons or something, and they're actually sci-fi weapons.
Yeah, in fact, I was using those today. It's funny you mention that. Yeah, they're like lightsaber type things, and sadly, a lot of the weapons that are kind of not Norwegian, like an axe or a sword, like you mentioned, the lightsaber looking things.
Yeah.
That you do have to pay real money for, which I don't like doing, but they look pretty effing cool. So I'm like, I'm gonna do that. But yeah, it does suck. But overall, man, I do think Valhalla is worth buying. I mean, yeah, there's no New Game Plus, but the best thing about it is that when you're finished, you can roam around the open world forever, and there's also enemies that respawn constantly, so you never are just running around an empty world. Okay. And they also spawn, they're like little missions. Some kid named Retta, I think his name's Retta, he's at your base, and Retta will give Eivor, the character, whether you play as a male or female, but Retta, the kid, gives Eivor missions every day. Okay. So you always have something to do, which is really cool. I mean, in terms of, I got it for $70. I mean, I got it day one.
Yeah.
You could probably find a good deal for less than 30 or 20. So
yeah,
if you have time, I recommend it.
Yeah, well, maybe one day if I get the money first. Because money's been really a problem these past couple of weeks for all of us here at my house. So
okay,
yeah, it's gonna be challenging but I can wait. I mean, I've waited for a whole lot longer for other things.
Yeah.
There's one game in particular that people were waiting for a long time to get, and I don't even have to mention it by name anymore.
Let me guess. Cyberpunk?
Lego Star Wars?
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Well, where have you been these past couple days, Franchise?
Oh, man, I've been
homework, right?
Oh, boy. Yeah, I've been buried in homework.
That explains it. All that homework has clouded your mind as to the big.
No, it's rotting my brain.
The big picture,
I know. Jeez, you mentioned, Lego and Star Wars, and I almost brought up my plan, and I was like, hey, Recon, can you help me edit my lesson plan? But I'm like, oh,
your plan for school?
Yeah. Yeah, not even kidding. I got out of school today at 3:30 because I had to go to a center to teach 3rd grade, and then as soon as I got home, I did homework until this podcast at 8. So I'm very glad I'm playing a Lego game right now because I was about to lose my mind.
Okay, well, but yeah, so my next topic. Did you watch Temple of Doom before Raiders?
I have not. You can you can probably guess why, but I do want to do that because
I'll keep that topic open then.
Okay, I mean I know the movie's like the back of my hand, so I mean I could just answer that right now. But if you really wanted me to physically watch them, I have not. But I can use my imagination.
Yeah. So, well, it is just to see if you if it affected you in any way, like if it made you see them differently if you watch them in the order that you currently watch them. So,
just looking back to Temple of Doom, I mean, ever since I saw it, obviously Temple of Doom is like a year before Raiders, and it's weird because I never noticed that until I think Echo pointed it out. But looking back at it, it's really crazy that they did that, and seemingly, I don't know if anyone noticed in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably
there was no Reddit in the 80s. People just saw the year, and they were like, fuck it, whatever, movie,
But, I mean, I guess in a way, you don't have to watch Raiders and Temple of Doom the other way. You can watch those two, I guess, in whatever order you want, because, I mean, in a way, watching Temple of Doom after Raiders does somewhat make sense, because if you go to Crystal Skull, and Marion says that thing to Indy, I'm sure there must have been plenty of women for you over the years, and Indy says, yeah, there were a few. Then, Willie coming before Marion and then Elsa kind of would make it sound. I mean, of course, there's probably women we've never seen, of course, in his history.
Right.
But
I think Indy goes on adventures when, outside the movies type thing. I think that's what they wanted to do. But it's funny you mentioned that line in Crystal Skull that kind of brings it full circle, I guess.
It makes sense for that, but then again, Temple of Doom is a prequel, so it's kind of I don't know. Maybe he just
weird, but it also
maybe
makes
he just
sense.
never told Marion about Willie until that point.
He's like, there was no one else, honey. Yeah.
No, I've been daydreaming about just you all this time.
Yeah.
And then
trust me.
And then they break up over something, and then he ends up with Elsa a couple years later.
That's funny. Now, speaking of that, just real quick, have you seen the Young Adventures of Indiana Jones, like that show?
No, but I know a little bit about, not really about it, but that apparently there's one episode where Harrison actually shows up.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it, but there's a clip in the end where Indiana Jones is really old, and and like he's older, and like he's in he has like an eye patch, and he's in a library, and he just spends the rest of his days like half blind, but in a library. And it's funny because spoilers for Dial of Destiny. I mean, come on, guys, freaking watch it. Made no money. He doesn't lose an eye, so I think Disney did confirm when they bought Indiana Jones that is a canon show. So I guess, because the way Dial ends, it's conclusive, but it isn't conclusive. Like, other things could happen. So maybe he does lose an eye. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I gotta watch that show.
But yeah, is he supposedly older than he is in Dial of Destiny?
Yeah. So that scene where he's got the eye patch in the end of the show, he's like 90 something.
Oh, okay.
Like upper 90s. Like he looks like he's about to die.
So then, of course, he hasn't died in Dial of Destiny if he's around by that point,
Right, yeah, which I don't know.
I mean, unless they wanted to break continuity by having him die in Dial of Destiny and say that Chronicles of Young Indiana Jones are, not canon anymore.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, last I checked, it was. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I still want to watch it.
Yeah.
It's just hard to find. Like you can't find it at your local Target or Walmart.
Yeah. Well, I don't have Target anymore, but there is a store called Sunrise that we have. But I probably couldn't find it there either because it's so old. And I mean, yeah, there's lots of old movies and TV shows that they sell, but nowadays they sell them in like a whole bundle, like a series.
Right.
Like the old Magnum PI show with Tom Selleck is a series now. You don't just buy a season. You buy the whole series now.
That's smart. I mean, they should do that with Ninjago and regular show. I mean, what are they doing over here?
Well, maybe when they end Ninjago. The main one.
Possible. I mean,
not the new one.
Maybe.
That apparently came out. So.
Yeah, Dragon's Rising. That's it's a sequel show.
Yeah.
So technically, the first show is over. It was 15 seasons. So hopefully, I don't know. I'm holding out hope on that, but I'm kind of losing my hope on that. But
yeah,
whatever.
But
speaking of that, Dial of Destiny, do we know when Dial comes out on Blu-ray?
September or October. They still haven't.
Okay, because I want to get
given
that,
a darn release date on it.
What about a Disney Plus date?
Well, apparently, I don't know if it's on Disney Plus, but apparently it's on digital now, whatever that means.
Okay.
But just digital for now.
Oh, maybe that means that might mean you can buy it on the Xbox store, like PlayStation kind of thing.
Oh, could be. I don't know. But hopefully soon they come out with Blu-ray because I'm waiting for it. I look at it.
I know, you and me. Yeah, I can't wait to unbox that.
So I want to watch it and be reminded of all the long chases again.
Exactly.
I've
only seen it once. I just want to bloody watch the thing again. I loved it.
Yeah. It's a waiting game, unfortunately. We were waiting for it to come out, and now we're waiting for it again to come out.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, when you suffer twice when you're a fan, right? You got to wait for it to come out in theaters and then own it.
Yeah, you see all those other movies, like Guardians only came out 2 months after the theater.
Yeah, and it's weird because I guess that makes sense. I know. Well, Guardians was a massive hit. Indiana Jones completely bombed, tell me this. What friggin' world am I living? What bizarro planet world am I living in where Barbie makes $1.2 billion and Indiana Jones fails? I will never understand that.
Well, probably the world where you said you wouldn't see it and you ended up doing it anyway, even part of as a bet, you said.
Yeah, Alan dragged me.
Probably that's the world that it would do that.
Yeah.
Because maybe if you hadn't seen Barbie, it would have failed. I don't know.
Maybe I was the deciding factor.
Yeah, you deceived yourself.
It's my fault.
But
in fact, we were watching that movie, Alan. First of all, it was cool because I got to hang out with a friend, but it was weird, walking into Barbie with another dude. This is weird.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he's like, "I'm gonna buy you a matching Ken sweater," and I'm like, "Alan,
Thanks.
If you buy me a matching 10 sweater, I'm burning it. I don't care. I'm throwing it in the friggin' fire.
So last topic, probably. We're cutting on an hour here. You mentioned Civil War. You still have to get to it. So I was wondering, the biggest thing that people call Civil War is an Avengers movie. And so, do you look at it as an Avengers, or do you see it more as a Captain America movie?
I mean, I see it as a Captain America movie because it's Captain America 3, but I know what you're getting at. I mean, in terms of, it really is Avengers 2.5. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's Avengers 2.5 called Captain America 3 Civil War. And it's not bad for being that. It's just weird because, like you watch Captain America 1, it's very Captain America focused. You watch Winter Soldier, you get Falcon in there and Black Widow, but it's not like Iron Man shows up for half the movie. Yeah. So I get why they did Civil War, because the Civil War comic and novel, it's a little different than the movie, obviously, but Iron Man and all the Avengers, they're in it. Yeah. So I get why they're there.
Only a little different. It's not like, it's just the only thing they change is they don't have entire armies of superheroes behind them this time.
Right. Yeah.
It's only
and I think Captain Marvel is in the book.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's not even in the MCU at that point, but
yeah.
I guess she is, but
yeah, well, I think the story is more Captain America, but obviously the film as a whole is very Avengers. Because the story is Captain America. I mean, it's the Civil War. Yeah, it's about Zemo getting all, internally hulking raged over the Avengers, Sokovia thing. But but it is very much about Captain America still looking for Bucky, and then obviously finding Bucky, and then having to save his life from Black Panther, and then, eventually Iron Man, So, but yeah, I mean, the character roster is very Avengers-y, and I would say that, even though like 3 of them only show up in the big battle and that's it.
Right.
I guess that doesn't really count because, you look at Endgame and all those heroes don't show up until the end, and it's
true.
Although it is still a team of Avengers before that happens, so I guess that doesn't really count, but still, it's, like all the heroes appear kind of when they need to, not just for the heck of appearing.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I never understood the hate. I understood the reason why people say it's an Avengers movie, but I don't know how that could be a bad thing. Like, you just want a Captain America movie with just Cap in it, which I get, but if you're a Marvel fan and it's called Civil War, you should probably know it's not just Captain America.
Also think of it this way: if it is a Captain America movie, which it's supposed to be, then it's because Cap is the protagonist and Iron Man is the antagonist, even though Zemo is the villain. He's not the antagonist, he's just the villain of the movie. But Iron Man is the antagonist because he's always in the way of Steve,
Mm-hmm.
And so, if it's an Avengers movie, then it doesn't matter that they're all in there. They're both the protagonist,
I think it's a really good movie. Like, it's one of my favorite MCU movies, and it's going to be fun to review it. But I think that it's really interesting that they went with that, where they're like, yeah, let's make Iron Man not necessarily like a villain, but both of them have their different opposing viewpoints, and obviously one side does win. But I think it's interesting because the MCU is all the stories are really good, but a lot of the MCU movies are cookie cutter in terms of, oh, there's a bad guy, and you know who the bad guy is. Yeah. There really isn't a bad guy in Civil War, because you could side with either one.
Yeah, and I guess you can side with Zemo a little bit, because, his family got killed in the Sokovia thing with Ultron, And so, and the Avengers went away pretty much untouched. I mean, they lost Quicksilver, but in his view, from his point of view, they just went home like nothing happened, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, I guess you could understand his point of view that he needs them to hurt a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, like it's, I don't know. I see it more as a Captain America film than an Avengers one, even though I still can see the Avengers aspect to it. Just because
I do
Cap
too.
is the main character of the movie. That's why his name appears before Robert Downey Jr. In the credits.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
Also, he has probably more screen time than any of the other Avengers. And I
would hope.
Not to mention, too, I mean, you see most of the film just from his perspective. I mean, maybe like 1/3 of the film is of Tony's perspective, and the other 2/3 are from Cap's, kind of thing.
Right.
So, it just, I don't know, it just makes sense, I guess, that it's a Captain America movie, not just an Avengers 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right, and the internet's right. I mean, I'm more with you. I'm more that it's a Captain America movie front and forth with just Avengers people in it. But it's a good point you bring up because
Avengers people are supposed to be in these movies. That's why there's a thing called connectivity.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like Iron Man not appearing after Age of Ultron all the way until Infinity War would have not made any sense. I mean, him appearing in Spider-Man, for that matter, wouldn't have made any sense because you don't see how they even got together first, It's just like suddenly this billionaire shows up and is mentoring this kid that calls himself Spider-Man, and it's like, so when did Tony meet this kid again? I mean, I know he was in Iron Man 2, but when did they actually have a conversation before this,
Yeah. No, I mean, you got to lay the groundwork so that it makes sense when shite hits the fan, you know what I mean, metaphorically.
And that's something people have been apparently dousing the phases 4, 5, and probably eventually 6 is because there's been no real connectivity between the movies right now.
No, not really. I mean, Kang's like the major bad guy right now, but I mean, in terms of like...
But even the build-up with Kang is apparently not quite so powerful like it was with Thanos, because, you just see all these different versions of Kang, and it's like, when are we going to see the main version? And I don't just mean in the movie itself. I mean, when is he going to finally cameo? And that's the one they ultimately have to stop or whatever, Because, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work exactly. Is it going to be all the superheroes go into infinite dimensions or infinite, multiversal places just to fight each of the Kangs there, and there's no real bad, like, main Kang, and they're all just, Kang is the main guy, and it doesn't matter which variant, or, just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, because I don't know how that's going to... I think the Kang that shows up in...
Thanos is just easier to know. He's the bad guy. Kang is just like,
I know.
Which one of you is the bad guy? Is it you? Or is it you? Is it you? Like...
Yeah, it's pretty confusing. I think that the one in Quantumania, I think he's the main Kang, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I mean, who knows at this point?
Or it could be the one
I don't even know
Loki.
if that guy is like... What's that?
No, the one from Loki got killed. Never mind. I thought it was going to be the one from Loki, and then I remembered that Sylvie killed him.
Yeah, right. That'll do it.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I mean, I think that, like I said, the one from Quantumania, I believe, is the real one, but who knows at this point?
Does he wear a helmet in Quantumania? The Kang we see in Lego Marvel 2? Does he have a head looking like that before it shows his actor head?
He does, yes. Yeah, there's like the little blue holographic thing.
Okay. So they're at least
he barely wears it.
At least they're being faithful, sort of, to the appearance.
Yeah. He barely even wears it, but it's technically in there.
Well, Thanos barely wears his helmet when he's finally fully revealed, so...
That's true. Good point.
although his helmet changes because it's very different from Guardians of the Galaxy compared to the one in Infinity War. But
yeah, there was a lot of for Thanos. There's a lot of like remodeling and stuff. He has like 15 twin brothers.
Yeah, so, but anyway, yeah, we're pushing on an hour and 10, so I guess we should call it.
Yeah, as much as I want to keep going, this was a really good one.
Yeah.
And your boy got to do.
I'm the one calling it this time, so I guess I'm growing. Hey.
Yeah, right.
Usually you're the one. I don't
like, dude. I could do these. I could do these with like you, Echo. I just like doing podcasts. I could do them all day, but thankfully the nice thing about this is that you guys know
just doing them.
Right. Yeah. Well, the nice thing about it is that you can. There's always more you can do.
Yeah. So, but. Yeah, so...
But anyway, I had a lot of fun, dude, for sure. There's a lot of good topics. So I'm going to try my darndest to watch all 4 of the MonsterVerse before the next one so that we can do a big old thingy on that for sure.
Yeah. Well, you just have 3 now, right? You watched Skull Island, so you just have to review it.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I really think... Oh, yeah, keep in mind... a couple of things here. Firstly, when you watch Godzilla, you might need to watch it in a dark area because it's a very dark film and it's very difficult to see in a when you have sunlight coming in. And if you're
thing for you because I watch all my movies when it's dark out.
Oh, okay. Well, it's just our main TV in the living room is dying, so the screen is getting darker in spots. So I don't ever watch much on it anymore. I have to play because my Xbox is connected to it, but other than that, I don't really watch movies on DVD or anything anymore on it.
Okay.
But yeah, so watch it in a dark environment, Godzilla 2014, and then keep in mind King of the Monsters is the most hated movie of all 3 of them. For whatever reason, you'd have to go on the internet after you watch to find out why, or at least what people conceive as why. And then Godzilla versus Kong, I'll just simply say, prepare to be wowed.
I hope I am wowed by all of them, actually.
Yeah. So.
That's my goal. But anyway, yeah, so I will have that hopefully watched ASAP soon, and then we can do the podcast on that.
Yeah.
But, so I mean, there's a bunch of content we can talk about. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. You can make sure to leave a comment what you thought and what you want us to maybe talk about next time, either Recon, Echo, whoever I'm doing a podcast with. You make sure to do that. But hope you guys enjoyed, and dude, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, me too.
So, all right. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to both of our channels. I have a link for Recon down below. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
Later, folks.